Alexander's Feast is a poem written by John Dryden to celebrate Saint Cecilia's Day. In this poem, he has clubbed two time periods. One occasion is Alexander's uh, conquest, or you can say he conquered Persia and was celebrating his victory, and the other is that while celebrating his victory, he was listening to the music of Timotheus. Timotheus was an ancient musician who was believed it was believed that he could control the minds with the power of his music. So it was at the royal feast for Persia won. That means Persia had been won by Alexander and he was celebrating his victory. By Philip's warlike son, Philip's was the name of Alexander's father. So, warlike is like brave, courageous, valorous son of Philip's. Aloft in upful state, upful means wonderful state, over the wonderful state he was ruling. The godlike hero sate, godlike hero is powerful god, like simile is there. And there is also an allusion. There was a story behind Alexander's birth, which I'm going to tell you later in this poem. On his imperial throne, imperial is majestic and grand throne, his valiant peers were placed around. That means he was not sitting alone, he was sitting along with the courtiers or companions or other aristocrats. Their brows with roses and with myrtles bound. Their brows means forehead. They were wearing tiaras that were decorated, like they were honored, and they were wearing it on their forehead. So brows with roses and myrtles bound means it was like uh, uh, bind, or you can say tiaras were wound around their forehead. So should desert in arms be crowned, like this is the way, like this is the right way, that such kind of people who handle weapons, that is soldiers, should be crowned, or soldiers should be honored. So they were duly honored, we can say. The lovely thighs by his side, thighs is uh, his wife, uh, and this lady was not Persian. She was a Greek concubine, or you can say courtesan. Uh, she was not even Alexander's wife, who was traveling with Alexander at this moment of time. So the lovely thighs by his side, thighs was his courtesan, we can say, sat like a blooming earthen eastern bride. She was wearing all the jewelry and all the accessories, and she was sitting there blooming, that means glowing and looking beautiful. She was sitting there by his side in flower of youth and beauty pride. She was youthful and beautiful. Happy, happy, happy pair, repetition is there to tell how happy this pair looked together. None but the brave, none but the brave, none but the brave deserves the fair. He says that such kind of women are deserved by brave men only. Such kind of beauty is like for the brave men only. So they were looking very good together, and he was brave and she was beautiful. So they were looking good together, happy together. Timotheus placed on high. Timotheus was a musician, ancient musician. He was also placed on a high pedestal. He was there to produce music. Amid the tuneful choir, he was also sitting not alone but with the band of musicians. Choir is the musicians, like band of musicians who were sitting around him. So he was sitting with them. With flying fingers, touched the lyre. Flying means very skillful fingers, or dexterous fingers. He touched his lyre as a musical instrument. The trembled notes ascend the sky, and this music thus produced was so nice, so good, so pleasing to the eye, that so pleasing to the ears, that the notes they raised towards the skies, and heavenly joys aspire, and the music appeared to be divine. It had the divine quality. That is why heavenly joys were like rousing in the hearts of the listeners. The song began from Jove, that is, the first song that he sang was devoted to Jove, or Zeus, the king of gods, who left his blissful seat above. Such is the power of mighty love. Who left his blissful seat above? This is hyperbole, exaggeration is there, and he left his blissful seat because now we would be told about the occasion when Zeus or Jove left his heavenly seat and came down to a woman whom he wanted to love. So he came in form of a dragon, fiery form belied the god. That means Jove disguised himself as a dragon, and this was a like normal thing that he did whenever he liked a woman on earth. He came riding on fiery spikes, made love to Olympia, impregnated her. That is why it is written that he ascended from his mighty throne, that is divine throne. And I told you in the beginning that there is one illusion. It was believed that Alexander was the son of Zeus. That is why godlike hero is written here. This illusion is the same as this one, that he wanted, like he liked Olympia. So a dragon's fiery form belied the god. That means he disguised himself as a dragon. Sublime on radiant spires he rode. Sublime means great, grand, majestic. He rode like that, like a majestic dragon. When he to fair Olympia pressed is pressed. He pressed himself on Olympia, and while he sought her snowy breast, then round her slender waist he curled, that is, he grabbed her, and stamped an image of himself, a sovereign of the world, and stamped an image of himself on her. That means he impregnated her, and the child who was born was sovereign of the world, king of the world, that is Alexander. This was a rumor, this was a belief. The listening crowd admired the lofty sound. People enjoyed this song that Timotheus had sung. A present deity, they shout around. Present deity, like he is also a god incarnation, because he is the son of god Zeus. That is why a present deity, repetition is there. The vaulted roofs rebound. The shouting or the sound produced by the audience was such that the dome of that place where they were listening to this music, that echoed. Rebound is echo. Vaulted is that tomb, that round roof, we can say. With ravished ears, ravished is overwhelmed. So transferred epithet is there. Ears cannot be ravished. People are ravished, but this adjective is used for the ears. That is why transferred epithet is there. Overwhelmed, that is, they were overwhelmed. The monarch hears, overwhelmed the king Alexander. He hears to this song, assumes the god, and he assumes himself to be a god when he's so inspired, he's so motivated, he is so, like, he becomes so prejudiced that he thinks that he is indeed god or son of god. Affects to nod. This was the effect that was there on him because of Timotheus' music, and seems to shake the spheres, and he felt very powerful, as if he would be able to shake the spheres. Spheres are the cosmic bodies. The praise of Bacchus, then the sweet musicians sung. Then the sweet musicians, they sang another song, and this was devoted to Bacchus. Bacchus is considered as the god of wine, fertility, joy, fun. So Second song was devoted to Bacchus, of Bacchus ever fair and ever young. Like they praised in the song, the musicians praised Bacchus, his beauty and his youth and all that. The jolly god in triumph comes. Like in the song, he came. Sound the trumpets, beat the drums. Musicians were doing all this with the instruments, flushed with purple grace. So the song was so nice, the song was so beautiful, that Bacchus had actually come there to bless them. The jolly god in triumph comes, like he ascends from the heaven. That is why, flushed with purple grace, that was his real face, real image. He came in his real form. He shows his honest face. Now give the hautboy breath. He comes. Hautboy is a musical instrument, and people like shout, and the choir plays that musical instrument because he had come from the heaven. Bacchus ever fair and young, drinking joys did first ordain. For he was the first one to bring into effect the joys of drinking, because he is the god of drinking. He is the god of intoxication. So he was the first one to bless the people with joys of drinking. Bacchus, or Bacchus's blessings are a treasure. Drinking is the soldier's pleasure. Rich the treasure, sweet the pleasure. Sweet is pleasure after pain. This is the song that this sang, because they say that it is necessary for the soldiers to drink because it takes away their pain of war, pain of separation, pain of all the troubles that they take to wage the war. All these were taken away, all these are taken away by intoxication or wine or drinking. That is why they want to pray and please God Bacchus. Soothed with the sound. Now, this second song that they sang about Bacchus, that also soothed the king. Soothed with the sound, the king grew vain. Vain means he became illogical, because drinking was also going on there, and then music was also of the quality that could intoxicate a person, you mesmerize a person. So intoxication had happened. That is why the king grew vain, fought all his battles over again, and in his imagination, because drinking had taken effect, in his memory he fought his battles over and over again and again. And thrice he routed all his foes, and thrice he slew the slain. The people whom he had already killed, in his fantastical thinking, he was killing them again and again. That means he was imagining his own, like himself in the battlefield, doing all sorts of actions of valor and bravery and courage and whatever. So he was fantastically thinking. The master saw the madness rise. Master is the master musician, that is Timotheus. He saw that the madness of the king was rising in his mind. His glowing cheeks, his ardent eyes, like he could see the effect of his own music in his glowing cheeks and his passionate eyes. Passionate because he was thinking about the war that he had already won. And while the heaven and earth defied, like he acted in a very stupid manner. He disobeyed the laws of heaven and earth. That means he got drunk, changed his hand, and checked his pride. So this man, the musician Timotheus, he changed his hand. That means he changed the tune, so that false pride of King Alexander, could be brought into check, or it could be checked, it could be stopped. He chose a mournful muse. The next song that he chose was about a mournful muse. Muse, I told you, is the goddess of song or poetry, and mournful, muse in the state of lamentation. So he chose that song, soft pity to infuse, so that he is able to soften the heart of King Alexander, who was up till now dreaming of war and all. So his heart might have hardened because of that effect. So to arouse pity, to infuse pity in that hardened heart, he sang this mournful song of lamentation and sadness. He sang Darius great and good. He sang about King Darius. He was also a Greek mythological king who died at the hands of his own people, and the same people whom he had provided for, he had distributed his bounty or plentiful uh, items of luxury amongst them, and those people were the ones, when he died, they did not provide him any help, they did not provide him any support, and when he died there was no one to even close his eyes. So the musicians or the choir started to sing about Darius, who was great and good. Actually, a tragedy is a tragedy only when good people suffer. If the bad people suffer, it does not become a tragedy. So he was good and great by too severe a fate, but he was not very lucky. Fallen, 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 repetition is there. Fallen from his high estate and weltering in his blood, like he was a king, he fell. Then at the last moments, he was just lying there in his blood, deserted at his utmost need. When he needed his men most, he was deserted by them, he was betrayed by them, by those his former bounty fed. These were the same people who were like given all the plentiful luxurious things by Darius, and when his last moment came and his moment of need came, they betrayed him. So former bounty fed, on the bare earth exposed he lies. He exposed he uh, while he died, he laid there on the ground, exposed, that is, there was not a shroud to cover him, with not a friend to close his eyes, and there was no one around, not even to close his eyes. With downcast looks the joyless victor sate. So now when Alexander heard that song, he became conscious of his own self. Now, joyless victor, in these words, there is oxymoron, because uh, this victor is joyless, because victor he has recently won Persia, but joyless because he knows that fate can turn her eyes anytime, and then a victor can also uh, you know come to a state to which Darius had come. So he started to ponder. A change of heart occurred, and revolving in his altered soul. Revolving means he started to ponder. Altered soul is now his heart changed or soul changed, and he no more thought about war, but he thought of his own actions that he had committed, his ruthless killings, his cruelty, and all that. So, change of heart occurred. The various turns of chance below, he thought how fate changes and things change altogether suddenly in life. And now and then a sigh he stole. Sigh he stole because he did not want other people to see him, that he's pondering or thinking about his own fate or about his own actions, that he's realizing, and tears began to flow, and he realizes his own sins, uh, and he repents. The mighty master smiled to see. Mighty master is the master musician who sensed that there was power in his music, and he stirred the emotions and passions of the king. So he smiled to see that his music is causing the desired effect, that love was in the next degree. So he thought that he would create feelings of love in the king's heart. 'Twas but a kindred sound to move. Kindred is relative. So he thought that pity is a relative of love. So it is better that, after pity, love is also aroused in his soul. For pity melts the mind to love, pity makes way for love, softly sweet in Lydian measures. Lydian is a note in music, is a technical, you know, thing. Those people who know about music, they might be knowing. Soon he soothed his soul to pleasures. Soon he sang such a song that the king's soul was comforted with the music. War, he sung his toil and trouble. In a song, he said that war is like destructive and troublesome, and toil is like when one works hard. So war is like that. Honor, but an empty bubble. Honor is like, you know, it is empty. We think about honor, but honor is nothing. Like, you know, people kill for honor, or honor killing hoti hai when you know, actually there is no honor in that killing, and they are not doing it for honor. It is just for ego that they do. So honor is like nothing, fake. You know, it is only a notion, it is only an idea in our head. Honor otherwise is an empty bubble, he says. Never ending, still beginning. Like, honor is like ego. There is no contentment, there is no end to it. The destruction keeps on happening if we trigger, you know, our honor to that extent. Otherwise, honor is nothing but ego. It is an idea in our head. Fighting still and still destroying. So this honor makes us continuously fight, and we destroy endlessly in the name of honor. So it is no good. If the world be worth thy winning, he says to the king, if it is worth, if you think that, you know, winning is important in life, think it worth enjoying. So then you must enjoy that. You must think, you must ponder on it, that world is also for enjoying. It is not only for toiling and working and winning and conquering and doing all sorts of things. Actually, we are here to enjoy. Lovely Thais sits beside thee. That means this woman is sitting beside you, and she deserves your love. Why are you wasting your time in war and honor and all that? Indulge in love. That is a better pursuit. Take the good the gods provide thee. You must make use of the blessings of God that you have, or all the good things that have been provided to you by God. The many rend the skies with loud applause. When people hear this, they are also so moved that the audience, they clap, they applause, and their applause reverberates the sky. So love was crowned, but music won the cause. So love ultimately won King's heart, but it happened only because of the music. Music was the cause. The prince, unable to conceal his pain, gazed on the fair pain of love, that is. Princess Alexander, King Alexander, was unable to conceal his feelings of love towards the lady who was sitting beside him. So he gazed on the fair, he started to stare at her beautiful face, who caused his care and wanted to care for her, and sighed and looked, sighed and looked, sighed and looked, and sighed again. Like in love, people sigh a lot. So this repetition is uh, uh, done so that the extent of love can be uh, told to us, can be conveyed to us, how much he wanted to love. At length, with love and wine at one oppressed. So he was already intoxicated, and now he has this like feeling of love also in his heart. So wine and love are creating havoc in his mind. The vanquished victor sunk upon her breast. That is, vanquished victor, oxymoron is there. He is victor of Persia, but vanquished because he is a loser in love. Up till now, he did not pay up any heed to his lady love. That is why vanquished victor sunk upon her breast. That means he bowed down to love her. Now strike the golden lyre again. Now Timotheus started to sing again, a louder, yet and yet a louder strain. Now this song was more powerful. Break his bands of sleep asunder. He thought that this king should not sit here and sleep, like uh, he should not be lost in love because he is not born for that, and rouse him like a rattling peal of thunder. So in order to arouse him again, inspire him again, motivate him, he sang a very powerful song which was loud. So he suddenly woke up. Hark, hark, the horrid sound. He thought, pay attention to the horrid sound, to this annoying sound, or this loud sound. Has raised up his head. He like was now awake and conscious, as awaked from the dead, as if he was dead up till now, and now he has woken up. And amazed, he stares around as if he has woken up from a dream. Revenge, revenge, Timotheus cries. In his song, Timotheus cries that he should take revenge against his dead soldiers, and he should like provide justice to the soldiers who fought for him. See the Furies arise. Furies is Greek goddess of war, anger, vengeance. So the Furies again, the goddess again arose, and Furies is seen as a woman having snakes in the hair and sparkles in the eyes. So this is the image that the Greeks believed that this lady had. And I don't know how to set this picture uh, properly again, so let me delete it. See the snakes that they rear, how they hiss in their hair. So snakes can be seen in the goddess's hair, and they are hissing in her hair, and the sparkles that flash from the eyes. So he is saying that Furies, or the goddess of anger and vengeance, has again arisen in their hearts. Behold a ghastly band. Behold means see. The ghastly band means distressed soldiers. Look at their faces, each a torch in his hand. Now, the effect of music is such that each of them was holding a torch, and they wanted to again go on a rampage, go for war. Those are Grecian ghosts. Grecian, Alexander was the king of Greek. Macedonia was the place from which he belonged. So Greek ghosts, those soldiers are like the ghosts that are crying for justice, are the ghosts of Grecian or Greek soldiers that in the battle were slain, who had died during the battle. And unburied remain, because in the battlefield it is not possible to bury every soldier with rites and rituals. So unburied they have remained. To provide solace to their souls, it is necessary that Alexander would go again to Persia and take revenge for their deaths, inglorious on the plain. Like they are lying there, never acknowledged. Inglorious means they were never acknowledged or provided any ritual or burial. Give the vengeance due. It is now important to take revenge. To the valiant crew. The crew is the group of soldiers that fought for them. Valiant is brave. Behold how they toss their torches on high, how they point to the Persian abodes. Greeks were very particular about this, that they, when they conquered any kingdom, any other place, any other country, they destroyed the uh, temples of the gods that were there. In the story of Helen of Troy, also Greeks went to Troy, and the first thing they did was that they destroyed the temples of the gods of that land, and therefore these gods, it is believed that they cursed them, and that is why very few of them could, in spite of the victory, very few of them could reach their homes safely. So now they want that they should go to Persia again, the place that they have already conquered, and burn the temples in Persia. How they point to Persian abodes and glittering temples of their hostile gods. They want, these soldiers want that the gods of Persia or the temples of the Persia should also be destroyed because they are hostile gods. They were not taking their sides. The princes applaud with a furious joy, and the king seized a flambeau with zeal to destroy. Flambeau is the burning torch, and zeal is enthusiasm. So the king is also inspired, he's also motivated, he also catches hold of a burning torch, and now he's enthusiastic to do this that the soldiers are urging him to do. Thias laid the way to light him to the prey. Prey is the victim, so that he could reach the victim carefully, properly, nicely, safely. And like another Helen, fired another Troy. So this woman is compared to Helen, because of whom Troy was burnt. Now Persia would be burnt because of her. This I've taken from encyclopedia, that he was the this lady Thais was the courtesan who traveled with the army of Alexander the Great during the time when he invaded Persia, and she was the one who persuaded Alexander to set fire to the capital of Persia. So, thus long ago, ere having bellows learned to blow, while organs yet were mute, Timotheus to his breathing flute and sounding lyre could swell the soul to rage or kindle soft desire. So, long ago, this is the story of very long back, when heaving bellows learned to blow. Bellows are the place where fire is lighted to melt metals. So when that happened, before that era, Timotheus was a musician who could light fire with his music, while organs yet were mute. Timotheus to his breathing flute and sounding lyre could swell the soul to rage or kindle soft desire. He could control emotions in men. At last, divine Cecilia came. This was the occasion of Saint Cecilia's birth or death. Uh, she came down, inventress of the vocal frame. She was also adept at music, and it is believed, there is a story that goes like, she was a young woman and she did not want to marry. She wanted to devote her life to the Christ, but when her family members pressed her to get married on her wedding day, like, a miracle happened, and the heavenly fairies, they came down to help her. So the sweet enthusiast from her sacred store, this was the woman who from her sacred store of music enlarged the former narrow bounds. Otherwise the music was narrow, it was little less, but she provided it more, you can say, more skill, more elements, and added length to solemn sounds. This is all technical about songs and all, that is why I can't find words to tell what happened to the music. Like, it became better because of Saint Cecilia. With nature's mother wit is personification of wit, and arts unknown before, like, before Cecilia, nobody knew of these notes of music. They did not know of this kind of music that she created. So she was the first one to do it. Let old Timotheus yield the prize. She had, like, before Mother Nature and Mother Wit let Timotheus take the prize of music. Uh, like, earlier this was the case, but when Saint Cecilia came, they both divide the crown. That is, they both were good and adept and skillful at music. He raised a mortal to the skies. He had the capability to raise a mortal, that is Alexander, to the skies. He was the one who like made him to believe that he is god and all that. And she drew an angel down with her powers, with her divinity, with her skill. She had the power to call the angels down upon the earth to help her.